Welcome back everyone, I'm Craven and this is called Steel. And I think we're back at Thors. Yes, there we are.
Mid-August. It was the peak of summer, and the sweltering sun was beating down on the residents of Trista. After returning from Heimdall, we were given a whopping 5-day summer vacation before the school year resumed. Turns out, Thors sticks to its military roots, only granting extended vacations to students over the New Year's holiday. However, nobles are allowed to visit home, ostensibly to give them time to become familiar with their family's holdings. And, as you might expect, that meant most students from classes 1 and 2 spent summer away from Trista.
Yeah, and do see someone familiar over there?
Meanwhile, classes 3 through 5 were stuck on campus, envying the nobility as they studied and trained as usual. The other members of Class 7 and I chose to stay in Trista as well, facing the heat with our fellow students.
So, are we gonna spend 5 free days? Probably not. It's so hot, I'm dying in here. I'm sick of this heat already. Talk about it just making me feel even hotter. The Academy should install an orbital air conditioner, at least then it'll be a little easier to cope. An orbital air conditioner? What is that? Well, it's a device that blows a cool air to help regulate the room's temperature. Maybe it'd be helpful if you think of it as the opposite of a stove. Wow, that's some kind of wizardry. I've heard of them, but aren't they supposed to be prohibitively expensive? Only the most modern buildings seems to be able to afford them. Do you have one in your house? Well, there's one in the Reinhardt Company's corporate headquarters, yeah. It'd be nice if my mother could spare one, you know, for the Academy. She sits on the board of directors for. Seems a bit much to hope for. This is a military academy, so I doubt we can expect to be indulged quite that much. Still, a machine to help us cool in the summer. Whoever first invented that should get a medal. I'll admit, the summer heat here is more difficult to cope with than in Nevercraven. But as long as I think of it as another part of my training, it doesn't bother me all that much. Briarheart gets similar summer waves, but there's usually a breeze blowing in from the canyon at this time of year. That makes summers a bit easier to manage. Well, my hometown's up in the mountains, so it's pretty cool even around this time of year. Actually, now that you mention it, I wouldn't have thought you three would go back home for the summer, being nobles and all. Well, you were given permission, weren't you? If everyone else was going home, I would have considered it. But in the end, I decided against it. I mean, it wasn't all that long before I got to CLEs, so maybe next year. I came here to train. Until I feel that I've made significant progress, I have no intention of returning home. Some of you saw my father's mansion. Do you think I'd go back to a place like that willy-nilly? I'd much rather stay here and take my chances with a heat stroke. You're really that uncomfortable at home, huh? Still, hot as it is, there's a lot going on right now. I doubt all the people headed to the conference at the end of the month have much time to be worrying about that heat. You make a good point. Ah, you're talking about the West Zemuria Trade Conference, right? Well, that's the one. There's never been an international conference on that scale before, at least not in modern times. Major Dieter Croix, who also happens to be the International Bank of Crossbell's CEO, was the one who first proposed it. Oh, I've heard that Prince Oliverud will be attending on behalf of His Majesty the Emperor. And Chancellor Osborne is supposed to be attending too. Seems crazy to think we met them both just a few weeks ago. The Chancellor in particular was a pretty intimidating figure. Seemed like a big scary monster. I've heard that he served in the Imperial Army before becoming a politician. Then, 11 years ago, His Majesty entrusted him with the position of Chancellor. Supposedly, a full 70% of the Imperial Army is under his jurisdiction. His real fame comes from establishing most of the nation's railway network, centered on the capital, though he also has been responsible for annexing several smaller countries and independent states around Erebonia. I believe those all took place without any bloodshed though, at least as far as I'm aware. I wouldn't put too much stock in what he's selling. Military spending in this country has increased exponentially since he took up his position as Chancellor. And that's only possible thanks to the tax revenue he gleans from the people of Heimdall and those annexed nations. Well, he was the one who ordered the construction of those 2 railway guns they got pointed at Crosswell too. At one point, Erebonia was on the verge of a full-scale war with Calvert because of those things. Oh yeah, I've heard that it was actually Liberal that proposed a way to avoid an armed conflict. They ended up signing the Non-Aggression Pact, right? Yeah, though as I'm sure you've noticed, there's still quite a bit of tension between the 2 countries. I wouldn't be surprised if the issue reared its head again during the trade conference. Chancellor Osborne has been a really popular figure in the capital though. Popular enough that he seems to have a group of terrorists after him. Yeah, he does seem to be the Imperial Liberation Front's main target, doesn't he? You know, the hammer of judgment that shall topple the dictator and all that? Indeed, they seem to harbor a deep-seated grudge against him. Their anger seemed a bit unusual in its intensity, didn't it? Well, he does seem like the type who will make a lot of enemies, especially with a face like that. Well, I'd rather not speak ill of my father's close ally, but... Oh, come to think of it, isn't the instructor awfully late? It's well past time for homeroom room to start. True, we should have started about, well, 10 minutes ago actually. I swear, that woman. She better not be sleeping off another hangover back at the dormitory. Wouldn't it put it past her? Well, I wish I could say that there's no way our upstanding instructor would do that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Excuse me? I'll have you know I did no such thing. Today.
Instructor?
Good morning, Instructor.
Yeah, could you have closed that door behind you, Instructor?
Morning, everyone! Anyway, I'll have you know I've got a good reason for being late today. And that reason is... we're going to be welcoming a new classmate today.
Ooh. So we're going to be fighting with new personnel on our next field study. Nice.
What?
A transfer student at this time of year?
Seriously?
All right, come on in.
Righto.
A young man. It wouldn't be Cedric, right? Crow?
Huh?
Has he been held back from second years?
Crow?
But isn't he a second-year student?
I'm Crow Armbrust. Starting today, I'll be joining you fine folks as a member of Class 7. It's gonna be pretty sweet, guys.
Yeah, but
What?
why?
What? I mean, how?
No, I think the most question is why.
Are you sure you want to know? It's a long tale fraught with the intrigue of school politics.
Let me guess, they caught him gambling at the summer festival and now he's held back a year?
I don't think I'd put it quite like that. Back in his first year, he slacked off so much that he ended up failing a few of his classes. Then he came crying to me in a panic, like, "Oh, help me, Instructor Sarah! They're not gonna let me graduate!" So, as a special exception, he's going to be joining us for the next 3 months to pay for his laziness.
You can't be serious. That's an even more pathetic reason than I was bracing myself for.
Yeah, so why put him in class 7? He would function just as well in one of the other classes.
I think you already know that Crow was one of the trial users for the Arcus test they ran last year. So I thought he might be a good role model for you. In that sense, anyway. And don't forget, he'll also be joining us on our future field studies, too.
Nice. Looks like you saved me the trouble of having to explain it all. Anyway, let's let the good times roll.
Well, if you ever give me my 50 Mira back, we can call it even. Until then, I'll keep my eye on you.
Oh, and since we're all classmates now, no need for all that sweet talking you lay on the other second years, alright?
Right. Easier said than done, I fear.
If he was any more laid back, he'd be comatose.
Which is extra funny coming from V.
Instructor, I can't help but notice you left the door open.
Wait, is there someone else too?
Huh? Are you serious?
Oh, I was hoping to catch you off guard.
2 students are gonna join our class. Damn, that's gonna change things up real nicely.
All right, come on in and say hello.
I thought you forgot I was out in the hall!
Milliam. I should have known. Oh, that's a cute hat.
What?
What?
You must be joking.
Hey, aren't you...
You're the girl we met in the Nord Highlands.
Yuppers! Long time no see, guys! But I see a couple of you I don't know, so guess I better introduce myself. I'm Milliam Orion. And this here's Aragetlum, but we'll just call him Lammy for short.
Yeah, Lemmy is very proud of himself.
What the hell is that? Holy crap!
It's that thing we saw at Ark's fort.
So this is that strange girl you met in the Nord Highlands.
Oh, and a little house rule before anything gets blown up. No bringing that thing out in the classroom. If he accidentally smashes a wall or blasts through the ceiling, I'm the one who's gonna get chewed out for it.
Boo! Fine. Anyway. Nice to meet you guys.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun addition to the class. I like it more that she is in the party than Crow, cause I feel like Crow can mess things up. Milliam, on the other hand, might be a nice force to be reckoned with.
Tell me you're kidding. Please?
I really wish I could.
Well, I can see we're in for some fun times these next 3 months.
But we only have 1 extra desk left. How are they gonna handle that? Three days went by. At first, no one was sure what to make of Crow Armbrust and Lieutenant Division Agent William Orion's sudden transfer into Class 7. But within a matter of days, it almost felt like they'd been there all along. I'm sure none of you need to be reminded that it was none other than Emperor Drykos who ended the War of the Lions. But did you know that historical records tell us he had amazingly few soldiers under his command? Initially, his allies numbered only a few confident and several warriors from the north. And while supporters rallied to him in each region, his rank still couldn't hope to compare to other princesses' armies. And nonetheless, they continued to advance, liberating region after region, and after half a year of bloodied battles, Prince Drykos met perhaps his most well-known supporter. Milliam, right? Would you happen to know the historical figure to whom I'm referring? Oh, sure do. Leanne Sandlot, also known as the Lance Maiden. Ooh, right you are, well done. Sandlot was the daughter of a count who ruled over a remote region, and accounts tell us she showed great martial skill from a young age. In particular, her skill with the lance was unparalleled. No record exists of her ever being bested in combat. The Lance Maiden also had a group of mighty warriors under her command who fought alongside her in battle. Perhaps you'd like to illuminate us on the name of the famous band, Rean? The group of mighty warriors led by the Lance Maiden. That's the Grasritter, that's from Trails the Third. Those are like the Holy Knights. And I think I've heard Eisenritter somewhere before. Stahlritter doesn't even show up as a blip on my radar, so yes, we're going with Eisenritter. Oh, the Eisenritter, also known as the Iron Knights. They were a band of knights said to be able to charge across the battlefield like lightning, cutting down all in their path. Ah yes, correct. You've done your homework. The Wandering Prince met the Lance Maiden on a day during a prolonged conflict in a remote region of the country. After recognizing each other as reliable and trustworthy, they pledged to fight together under a united banner. With the Lance Maiden and her knight bolstering his rank, Drakel's army stretched through one region after another. In just a year, he was able to defeat the other princes and free the imperial capital, Heimdall. As an interesting footnote, the castle the Eisenritter used as their base of operation 250 years ago just so happens to be the only hop, skip and jump away from Laura's home in Legram. Indeed, it is known as Lohengrin Castle. It is a beautiful old building situated at the shore of Lake Ebel to the west of Legram. Ooh, you've mentioned that before. Does anyone live there now? No. Due to the dangerous terrain there, no one goes near it. These days, it exists simply as a relic of bygone age. The Arseed family is responsible for the care and maintenance of the castle, though really, only minimal work is done. Speaking of the Arseed house, wasn't one of your ancestors the Eisenritter's second in command? Indeed, the Lance Maiden's most trusted assistant and confidant from what I understand. The Sandlot family line ended with the death of the Lance Maiden. And it is partly because of that the Arseed family mourns her death each year. I see. Ooh, what a fascinating story. Legram, huh? Never had a mission there, so I've never been able to go. Oh, maybe I should stop by when I went to Brayheart a while back. You'd think she at least tried to conceal the fact that she gets sent all over the country on secret missions. I know, she totally just let it slip that she was doing something in Brayheart too. Well, I suppose it's better than her being all distant and cagey around us. True. She doesn't need to spill all the secrets, but being open with our class might result in a higher trust level. So we can link with her if she goes with us to the old schoolhouse, which I'm hoping. Okay, so tomorrow's a free day, which means that next Wednesday you'll have your usual practical exam, and you better all bring your A-game. Oh, Milliam and Crow? A few must-have instructional materials you guys are going to need as part of Class 7 finally showed up. I'll hand the stuff over to you once we're done here, so you want to come with me to the faculty lounge. Righto! Man, what a drag. Alright, homeroom's out for the day. Flee while you still can. Machias, if you'll do the honors? Yes, instructor. Alright. Wow. So, what do you think? Well, I don't think we have to be on our guard around her at least. Same. Though, I'd rather she kept that giant silver thing of hers hidden. I don't think she's a bad girl. I was taking a nap in the courtyard yesterday and she came and fell asleep right next to me. What does that have to do with whether or not she's trustworthy? They look like a couple of kittens all curled up together. Their personalities may be worlds apart, but they're both rather cat-like in their own ways. She can't be more than 12 or 13, still practically a child. Yeah, you're right. She's so chipper all the time that it's hard to really be cold towards her. Yeah, I don't think I could bring myself to spurn her. She's got this natural charm, I think. Be that as it may, her presence may reek of blood and iron, if you take my meaning. Well, it certainly seems that way.
As such, I'm planning on granting you a bit of additional assistance.
Ah, so that's what he meant. I was still thinking about, it's probably gonna be some type of giant archaism we can get to use in our practical exam or something. But he's actually referring to Milliam, okay. Makes sense.
I should have it ready for you in a few weeks' time.
It is hard to believe a girl like that could be an agent of the intelligence division. But just going off what happened in the north, there's not much that would make me doubt it now. And then there's this thing, Armageddon, that's always with her. She calls it Lemmy, but aside from its name, we don't really know anything about it. It seems to be made from some strange material with both metallic and ceramic properties. Hard, but pliable. Agreed. It doesn't look like anything you could make even with the most cutting-edge orbital technology. When I touched it, it felt really nice and cold. Wow, you actually got to touch it? It hasn't escaped my notice that it seems strikingly similar to the combat shells we fight in our practical exams. I'm thinking Armageddon has probably been excavated, so it's probably an original build, that's why it seemed like something we cannot build right now with our current technology. And like the archaisms we use during our practical exams are built upon that knowledge they've gained from that device. Theory, of course. I think it's safe to assume that they share some kind of common origin. Yeah. Well, the instructor said she was forced to accept it, though in a sense, Milliam was forced on us too. You're welcome to think what you will, but I don't trust her. Either way, she's technically our classmate now, like it or not. It may be a little early to tell whether we can trust her as a friend, but we should be able to figure out pretty quickly whether we can count on her as a member of Class 7. Well, that is a logical way of breaking it down at least. You're right, it's still pretty early to make sweeping judgments. Knowing her background would be great, but what really important is whether we can count on her in a fight. Agreed, as students of a military academy, that's probably the most important issue. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, considering we're living in a same dormitory, it'll be good if we all got to hang out. Yeah, we wouldn't want her to think we're trying to make her feel unwelcome either. Oh, and there's Crow. What's he like, Rean? You seem like you get along with him pretty well. Well, I don't know if I put it quite like that. If I had to say, I describe him as capricious, gambling addict, way too prone to ante up for every hand. I just help us. He sounds like the kind of miscreant one would be better off avoiding. Well, you can count on him when the chips are down though. He really helped me last month when Elise went into the old schoolhouse. He's good in a fight and pretty handy with an Arcus too. Well, maybe we're worrying over nothing then. Still, I'm not really sure how to connect with him, you know? Well, at least we're in separate dorms for the time being. We'll just have to see how things go. That is very true. But the one thing I feel like I should mention, because I've talked about this in a few episodes before, that I have two people that I am considering as a possible identity of C, the leader of the Liberation Front. One of those two people is Crow, mainly because of the theatrical nature that Crow has himself, and the letter C for his name.
Right.
The other one, I will keep a secret until we're a little bit further into the story and we get a little bit more hints whether or not that person could actually be something like that. But like I said, once that pops up, I will let you know as well. But that's basically the reason why Crow is one of my first suspects, because he's been part of the entire project because of being a second year that handled the Arguses as well. He's around our class as he's being a student at Thors Academy as well. And he keeps popping up everywhere. But the same is for Angelica, Toa, and of course everyone else from the second year. And the fact that he now joins our classroom as well as a member, again, very suspicious. But most of all, those two reasons: the C in his name and the theatrics he has, which we could also see when he entered the class with his normal bravado. But yeah, whether I'm right or wrong, it's way too early to tell. I'm pretty sure it will probably be in Cold Steel 2 or 3 before we even get a hint on who it actually is. So, still plenty of time for me to redirect my attention to other people. But for now, he's my first official suspect. So yes. But yeah, now that we can move again, we of course are in the evening before our free day. Which usually means we can go over the entire classroom. All the classrooms until we get
Rean Schwarzer speaking.
To the city, which then probably prompt us to go to the dormitory or not. But yeah, let's listen in.
Oh, hi there, Rean.
Toa.
Do you have a moment?
Of course.
Toa? Well, this is a surprise. What can I do for you?
You've got a new student in your class now, right?
Let me guess. The stuff that Sarah needs for them, we are going to be the ones that grab it, isn't it?
Well, her student notebook is ready, so I figured it'd be best to get it to her as soon as possible. And since you handled it last time, would you mind coming to get it for her?
Ah, you're talking about Milliam. Sure thing. I'll come get it right away. You want me to swing by the student council room then?
That'd be great. Thanks.
She sure doesn't waste any time.
Well, with how busy she is, I expect not.
I should head on over to the student council room before it gets too late.
Well, I think we just have a confirmation which room will be going to last. Oh, it sure is quiet around the academy when the nobles are away. But I'm so jealous. I wish the rest of us could go home for a month and be able to beg my parents to take me shopping all the time. They're gone the entire month? Really? Yeah, lucky them. Alright, that's pretty busy here on this floor. Good. Oh, and of course with our free day tomorrow, I'm betting we're gonna get a bonding event with Milliam as well. Well, the option to choose so, and I think I will. Because we were in Heimdall, we got an extra scene with Sarah because we did one of her bonding points. I'm wondering if the same will be with Milliam. Yeah, Class 7 is a whole lot livelier these days, isn't it? Even putting Crow aside, I never would have expected that some girl we met in North would become our classmate. Life is full of surprises. It feels like they've already become part of the fabric of our class too. Definitely. I don't think we should have any trouble getting along with them. Well, for now at least. You two seem more like responsible adults than any of us. It's for Sarah included. You think you can look after Milliam? Not a problem. We're all classmates after all. Helping each other out is what we do. Perfect attitude to have, and especially for Emma since she's been taking care of Fee as well, and Milliam is basically a little bit in the same boat, like a younger member that basically takes a lot of naps. So yeah, I can see her do that. Crow should theoretically be able to take care of himself, but maybe we should ask Milliam how she's doing with classes. I worry that some of the material might be a bit difficult side for her, so we should all try to help her out. That we definitely can. That Aragetlum of hers is a real mystery though, isn't it? I'm really curious about how it works. Same here. Oh, the nobles are so lucky. I haven't been able to go to my local shops in forever. I miss all of them. I hurt my arm pretty bad last month, so I'm not going to be able to play in the concert tomorrow. I'll just have to leave it in the hands of Elliot and the others. I'm pretty frustrated with myself, but all I can do now is help them out with whatever they need. I might not be able to play, but I can still help everyone out. I'm pretty annoyed with myself though, but I'll do what I can. Oh, originally Hybel was going to be our lead violinist. Now though, I'm on the hook for it. I was worried at first since it was so out of the blue, but things seem to be shaping up nicely now. You know, I had my doubts at first, but now I feel like I made the right decision in choosing this academy. And one way I'll know for sure is if I can help this performance go off without a hitch. That makes me glad to hear. I'll be cheering you on. You know, I had my doubt at first, but now I feel like I made the right choice in coming to this academy. And one way I'll know for sure is whether we can perform this without a hitch. I have all the confidence in the world. Now, it's a bit scary, but we're gonna have to play without Hybel. But even so, when I give him a performance he can be proud of. If Hybel can't play, there's only one thing we can do. Put on a show that will blow his socks off. Which is actually quite cruel, because he can only use one arm, so putting him back on again might be a bit difficult. We'll be setting up piano in the church on the day of the concert. This is going to be a fantastic concert. Everyone's been practicing really hard. And hoping all of our hard work will shine through in our performance. But more importantly, I hope everyone enjoys it. I can already guarantee that no matter what happens, that is almost a guarantee that people will enjoy it. My father was persistent in his attempt to convince me to return home. He said that as a daughter of a count at Eldheim, I have duties to attend to. I, in turn, explained to him that as an instructor, my highest priority is my devotion to my students. I probably won't be able to be quite so selfish once I marry. Wait a minute. The Altheim family is one of the best known families in the Sutherland province. I guess Instructor Mary has more to worry about than I thought. Yeah, so there's a good chance she'll be married off to one of the other noble families, isn't it? Well, Mary, I hope you get to choose who you want to marry. Oh, between teaching classes and acting as an advisor for 3 clubs, there's simply no time for me to return home. The Wind Orchestra is performing tomorrow too. And the life of an instructor is a fulfilling one indeed. I do hope we get to see the concert as well, in like full force. Margarita has gone back home for summer vacation. I never realized just how quiet this club is without her. It would be so nice to get some new members. Given that it's already August though, it's rather unlikely. Yeah. Hey, if you give me a few recipes, I might consider it, Your painting has really been improving, Gaius. Meanwhile, I've hardly gotten any better. It's all thanks to you and Clara. You guided me along a path I never would have found my way through on my own, and I couldn't be more thankful. Oh please, it all comes down to you working harder than anyone else. Still, Clara's been going full bore for a while now. She's just going to collapse at some point, isn't she? Yeah. Probably. Linda and I have really developed our skills by learning from Clara's devotion to the arts. If I've improved at all since arriving at Thors, I owe it all to this club. Ultimately, I'm just glad I joined. Linda and I have really developed our skills by learning from Clara's devotion to the arts. Yeah, his grey tones? There is no one better with those, definitely. Oh, I've been in a top form lately. I might have been in a slump last month, but now I'm back better than ever. I'll use this momentum to craft some of my greatest work yet. Tomorrow's a free day and the art club is closed, so it sounds like the perfect recipe for an all-nighter. I'll use this momentum to craft some of my greatest work yet. Excuse me. Alright. I think that's it for the floor. Yes, let's go down. Oh, wait. Nope. I would almost forget. I really doubt there's going to be someone up there. There's only one person might be. I check both sides. No one smoking. And no one there to, let's say, wanting a cup of milk. I might as well go down here then. Alright, let's see. Busy here as well. Alright. Oh, how strange. William's documents list her home address as private. Well, I doubt she's involved in anything shady. Probably. It's hard to imagine why she'd withhold that information, given how young she is. Well, I can't imagine that she'd be involved in anything shady at least. Well, I think her home address is probably the intelligence division. And since that's a relatively secret organization, I can assume that that's the reason why it's put down as private. Rean Schwarzer. It seems as though you've been working very hard on your field studies, and even harder when you help out the student council. I can hardly imagine how many people you've helped tackle their problems, all while showing compassion and honor. As an instructor here at Thors, you could not have made me prouder. That's very kind of you, but I'm not sure I've done anything someone else in my shoes wouldn't have. To be honest, I'd say the people I've helped have let me develop as a person, so it's anything but a chore. The more you talk, the more right I know I am. I hereby present you with the Medal of Compassion. Ooh! Wasn't this one of the medals that was in the book in the principal office? Let's check in a moment when we get there. Mrs. Herschel won this last year, so you know you're in good company. While this is far from a formal award ceremony, I do hope you'll accept. Even so, this is quite an honor. Of course I'll accept, thank you very much. Having the ability and the will to help others is a precious thing. I hope that you continue to do so as you grow older. I can't believe that terrorists showed up in Heimdall, though it's lucky that so few people were injured. But it's a shame that we live in a world in which such unnecessary violence is so prevalent. Situations like this just makes you realize how foolish people can be sometimes. True, very true. And talk about foolish, let's see what that medal actually does. Hey, we already got a few other medals. No, not even registering before. Fortitude, discipline, vigor, and compassion. Okay, so these are like 4 high achieving students. This is the first one from the 4 Lionheart medals. Yeah, that's the one that I meant. So 100 EP. Can only Rean equip this, because he's the one that got the Medal of Compassion. It's technically not a bad thing. The Deep Ochre is just better. No better place to skip class than the infirmary. Couldn't agree more, but I'm sorry to say that I do not have the time to skip. Oh, the Wind Orchestra will be holding a performance at the chapel in town tomorrow. I'm handing out flyers in the hopes that everyone will come along to see it. Please come if you have the time to, Rean. There's only one more day left until the Wind Orchestra's performance. I'm starting to feel rather nervous about it. Please come along if you have the time to, Rean. Hey, if it's up to me, I will definitely be there. Oh, Rean, come here a sec. You know, you've gotten a real air of confidence since you first showed up here at Thors. Really? I haven't really noticed much of a difference. But maybe it's because of all the difficult opponents we've had to face over the course of the year. Yeah, I've heard you've been through a lot of these field studies or whatever. I've got to give this to someone, so I figured it might as well be you. What? I'm in charge of handing out one of the Lionheart medals this year, so yeah. It's the Medal of Valor. Congrats. Wow, thank you so much. It's a real honor to be awarded something like this. Well, keep up the good work, I guess. Crow and Angelica got it last year, and to be honest, I think you're on track to accomplish just as much as they did. I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off, but this is going to motivate me to work even harder from now on. Well, thank you very much, instructor. It would be interesting seeing our performance too, Instructor Makarov. You wouldn't believe how much effort Mint has been putting into her practice. Oh, I believe it. It's hard not to when you can hear her flute all the way over in the faculty lounge, since it sounds like someone is strangling a cat. Just thinking about it is giving me a headache. Are you alright, Instructor? But yeah, now we got a second one. Are we gonna be on track to getting them all? Strength and speed. I like this one. I'm beside myself to know that we have a student who was in danger of being held back. That crow armbrust is a disgrace. Oh, this is why the lower class is nothing but a liability. Does he not realize that these are the types of things which hurt the Academy's reputation? Be sure to inform him that we made a special exception for him once and only once. He's all out of chances. I can only hope we'll never find ourselves in this situation again. Be sure that you don't let him corrupt you. Oh, don't worry. Instructor Nightar's been even busier than usual lately. He leaves immediately after his classes are done and seems to be contacting someone on a regular basis. Who could it be? Does Instructor Nightar have a secret girlfriend? There is actually a possibility of that, of course. Yes, we got 2 new items for him. The Magma Gratin. Oh, dear me. Yeah, I've never seen a disc quite like this before. This will definitely help with my research. Will it be enough to trigger another gift? Nope, not yet. Now that you have uniform and equipment, you should be good to go. Thanks, Teach. Good energy, I like it. I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around how someone like you ended up an Ironblood, though. That boss of yours is a real mystery, man. Well, you're pretty mysterious yourself. Seemed like your life was really interesting before you started teaching. Now, who would have told you that? She asked the girls from the Imperial Intelligence Division? Probably from Claire. William, let me give you a word of advice. His Majesty might have gotten you into this academy, but in my class, you're just another student. Just keep that in mind and everything will be gravy, okay? Righto! What do regular student-teacher relationships look like again? I think I have forgotten by now. This academy is so awesome. I want to go around and explore. Then go for it. Oh, looks like the life's about to take a turn for the crazier. That ought to keep everyone in class on their toes, though. So bring on the crazy, I say. With the amount of amusement you apparently get from us, maybe we should start charging you. That is actually not a bad idea. That way she will have less money to spend on drinks. Alright, so we got the Medal of Valor and Compassion. Awarded to those who earn the respect and trust of the Academy at large. I think we're good on our way for that. Awarded only to those who received all 3 of the aforementioned medals and demonstrated outstanding ability in all aspects of their life at the Academy. Okay, so if we do get Mary's medallion, we have to go back to Principal Van Dyke. Just to see if we will get the Medal of Heroism. Maybe. Chancellor Osborne was always known to be the bold type during his time in the military. However, he seems to have become even more coercive after becoming a politician. Now that terrorists have begun to pop up, I'm sure that he won't hesitate to enforce some strict countermeasures too. I can only hope that no innocents get caught up in all of it. Well, he did mention that Principal Van Dyke was his former superior, didn't he? I wonder what caused him to leave the military and become a politician. Probably control, because he could probably do more as a politician than as a military general. Chancellor Osborne seems to have become even more coercive as becoming a politician. I can only hope no innocents get caught up in it all. Well, maybe till later, Principal. Because there's always a chance that at some point, if you're lucky, we'll get the autumn medal as well. I hear tell you got yourself invited to Velvane Palace last month. Now that's an achievement right there. Anyone who's ever voiced their doubts about Class 7 is probably eating their words right about now. What's more, I heard you found yourself some new members. Looks like everything is coming up Class 7. Well, you've earned it. Just keep it up, you hear? Thanks, we will. Saving the princess and getting invited to Velvane Palace? That's just downright heroic. Anyone who doubted Class 7 is probably having a change of heart right about now. Alright, and seeing we are reaching the end of our time for this episode. Let's talk to Monk first. Ah, there are new students in Class 7? I smell new material. You might get to hear all about it on the next ebb and time. Maybe. Well, it's hard to go to the school and not know Crow, but I've never seen that tiny girl before. Maybe it's time to do a bit of research. Because he needs more material. But yeah, we're gonna leave the episode here. Next time we're gonna go by all the buildings on the outside and ending up as last at the student council before we head back to the dormitory. Because I'm pretty sure that once we pick up Million's book, we're probably gonna give it when we get back to the dormitory. As we should. So that's gonna be next time. Until then, I wish you a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. And if you're still here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and be back next time as we round off our runabout of the Academy grounds on the day before free time. So, see you later. Bye bye.